Good day, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I am Brother Minister Cepeda. I am the founder and operator of a holistic ministry that is designed to provide you with nourishment for your mind, your body, and your spirit. So visit the website at treeoflifeoutreach.com. Again, that's treeoflifeoutreach.com. Check out the website, go over the bio, be encouraged by the bio. It's not about me, it's about He who has sent me. I start each and every video off the same way by requesting that you guys go check out the website just in case there's any new subscribers, and every opportunity I get, truly I'm going to glorify my Heavenly Father for all that He's sent me through, all that He allowed me to go through, the fact that He's saved me from it all, and that I am here. So I glorify Him every opportunity I get. Thanks, guys. Familiarize yourself with the services that consist of philosophical consultations that's based on experiential philosophy, as well as ISSA certified fitness training and clean-hearted spiritual teachings and practices. Now, in addition to that, I'm very, very passionate and very much into youth and young adult mentoring and counseling, as well as inspirational and motivational teachings. So I'm just going to talk very briefly about the fact that I've been doing videos lately, or a couple videos that says, you failed you by giving up on yourself. I failed me by giving up on myself. And I'm doing a video about how the educational system has failed us and betrayed us. It's obvious, don't need to be long-winded here at all, I'm sure you agree. Most of us spent about 12 years in school. Some of us are fortunate to go to college, spend 2 to 4 years, maybe 6 years there, whatever, going to grad school and all this and that. And unless you actually obtained your degree, and even if you did obtain that degree and you're a doctor, a surgeon, or whatever it is that may be, that education system as a whole has failed you, because out of all that stuff, the other stuff that they made mandatory for you to work on and study, you don't utilize any of that. You may have your degree or your doctorate in whatever, but you had to take classes over here, classes over there, which was costing you more money if you were in college, when you could have just went and took the classes that was relative to your specific trait or your particular field of interest. And surely it's betrayed you even then, because even though you may have a lucrative career, you have to pay all that money back. So it's like it helped you, but it helped you by hurting you and putting you in a point to where by the time you overcome being hurt, you just end up scarred. You got your career, but it's cost you X amount of years, X amount of dollars, and that's a betrayal within itself. I don't think education is beneficial. I think it's absolutely counterproductive, particularly for those of us who have, those of you who have college degrees and have spent a great deal of time there, and even more so for those of us who don't have a college degree, because that still was 12 years of our lives. For what? To go get a basic kind of run-of-the-mill job, whether it's at McDonald's, working in a coal mine, working at Penny's Shoes, cooking or waitressing tables and all this stuff. So then what was the purpose of the 12 years? It's betrayed us. It failed us. Yes, it failed us because it failed us by telling us that if we get this, we will be well on our way to becoming quote-unquote successful. Oh gosh, pardon me, guys. Please forgive me for that. But so as I transition back to the topic, yeah, this is ridiculous, man. You don't need to be a nuclear physicist in order to figure this one out. It's betrayed us. It's betrayed us because it promised us this, that, and this and this. A lot of times our parents worked their fingers to the bone to send us to college, and they spent all that money, and sometimes we went to college. You guys went to college, you didn't even finish. Some of you guys went through and finished and couldn't get the degree that you spent all that time and money to get. Some of you guys went through, finished, got the degree, got the position that you wanted, but then that's all. You don't basically know anything about all of the other courses that you had to take just in order for you to keep moving forward in your major. So, and then we can see the effect that this plays on society. Starting with, you got all these people whose parents went in debt in the first place to finance putting their kids through school. Then you got the fact that the kid either went to school, didn't finish, or went to school, got out, and then they had debt. Probably had to pay back some of the debt that their parents went into in the first place, plus the debt that they themselves have accumulated. And that's just betrayal. That's betrayal. If you promise me this and then fail to deliver, that's a broken promise. But then if you promise me this and you knowing that that's not going to produce, and you set forth something and the outcome is directly in opposition to what you said it was going to be, and you know that, and you knew that going in, that is betrayal. Yes, that is betrayal. Because you cannot tell me as a learned individual that you didn't know that once these people and all these people continuing to sign up for college, those of you who are at the helms of the educational system or government or whatnot, you know that that's a sham. You know that you're deceiving those people. Their parents are in debt. Their parents before them were in debt. The kids coming out are going to be in debt. And for what? For you to get more money. You betrayed us with your education system. You took us off, a lot of us, you took us off the organic and natural course that we had for ourselves. You told us to dream and to vision and to imagine and have goals and all these different things. And for the most part, not everyone, but for the most part, because a person had to get up and go to school and then try to do whatever they may have been doing then, maybe play some sports on the side, whatever. Get up and go through school and then having to hire a tutor, whatever it may have been, they got thrown off course. They got thrown off course because they go, what you promised us as kids, to hope and to dream and go for our dreams. When we got to school and try to pursue that dream, you said, nope, you need this class over here. Nope, you need that class over there. Nope, you can't come in because of this. No, and this and that and that and this. And so it's a 100% bamboozle. And again, you don't have to be a rocket engineer to figure this out. You don't have to be a Harvard grad oceanographer to figure this one out. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We're going to continue to do this? You got parents out there who know what going to college and what going to school did to them, period. And they just keep passing the buck right on to their own kids. Why? And I know that a lot of it has to do with the fact that there aren't really any good options, but there's becoming more and more options available now with homeschooling. In some states, no schooling is becoming more and more optional. Oh, and by the way, those who partake in homeschooling, and particularly those who partake in no schooling, are vastly outperforming those who are just going to regular school, public or private, where their parents insist that at the tender age of 5 or 6, they got to get up and start going to pre-K and all of this nonsense. You're taking kids who are 5, 6 years of age and dropping them into a meat grinder. They haven't been a kid. They haven't figured out much as a kid. And then all of a sudden you're telling them they have to sit up, be still, sit at this desk for hours and hours, go out and play when we say play, come back in when we say come back in, sit down, have lunch, take a nap. And I get the need for structure, but that is ridiculous because there's no ease in process for that. You may have a daycare as a little bit of a warm up, but daycare is not really a warm up for anybody who's just gonna wake up one day, they 5 or 6 years old, and then they gotta go to school. You've robbed them and robbed us of our childhood. You've beaten down our organic inclining to dream and hope, all the stuff that you instilled in us when we were younger. You turn right around and beat that out of us, and then tell us, look, just get a job, keep moving forward. This is what big grown-ups do. Wait a minute, I thought you said hope and dream and all these things. And then the vast majority of us we didn't go to college. I guarantee you there's more people in America who didn't go to college when compared to those who did. So we just spent 12 years for what? You don't need no special education or unique set of skills or anything like that, or you don't know certain educational accomplishment for you to go work at McDonald's or work at the bus station. Half the stuff that you don't need to go be a EMT and just some of these day-to-day jobs. Reading, math, English, so you can learn how to, enunciate and pronunciate your words and know what words mean and different stuff like that. And some science, of course, sprinkled in there. But unless you're going to be out engaged in the scientific community, then what's the point of you having to bust your behind to get all this so-called education that you're not interested in, you're not going to ever utilize, you're not going to ever need to have it on recall, and shortly after you finish with those classes and finish with school, you don't know it, you've forgotten it, because you never did really learn it. You just memorized it. You didn't really learn it. So somewhere we at the ground roots level have to unite. We have to develop strategies on how we can come together and decide what's best for our children, both as individual families and as collective families of society. Because the educational system has betrayed us outright. It's failed us for those who believed in it and said, hey, look, they're going to be a scientist, they're going to be a lobotomist or what have you. They went, they applied themselves, they got the degree, and then got out and then couldn't even find a job in that field. So they end up working at McDonald's and a car wash with the rest of the people who, in that type of scenario, thankfully they only spent 12 years. They only got buked for 12 years. Now I do have a puppy over there who's doing his crate training, so you might hear him whining over there. So I may have to prepare to wrap this video up, depending on how loud he gets, because again he's just starting his crate training. But listen, this is the truth, man. This is the truth, and unless we unite on the ground roots level and decide what we're going to do, how we're going to combat this, we're going to have more and more generations just continuing to be funneled towards an educational system that those who are in the position to continue to orchestrate the funneling, as well as the parents and things of that nature, no one's giving them any advice on how to go about that. So he's acting up. I'm going to cut this video short. I'll do a part 2 on this perhaps, but know that this is the truth. My contact information is on the website. If anybody wants to contact me, leave a comment on some suggestions, like the video, and then do an assessment in your own life. Most of the millionaires did not become millionaires through education. They lucked up on something, they started their own company, they invented something, they worked hard at something that was outside of education. So it's a farce. It's failed us. And it's failed us in a major way. And again, for those who went through, even if they went through for the 12 years and got their degree, got their high school diploma and got out and realized it didn't give them no advantage over the guy who don't have no schooling. So what was the point? He could have been putting those 12 years, he or she could have been putting those 12 years towards the entrepreneurial type of endeavor. So this is not the way that it should be, guys. This just ties into all the other things that society has promised us and have failed to deliver, or has purposely delivered something in direct opposition of what they promised us. And this is what we do. We sit in the middle and we suck on it. Well, I'm reaching out to you out of a state of love and hope and compassion, strength, courage, knowledge, and wisdom. I say, hey, even if it's just me and you, it doesn't have to be me, you, and another 200-some-thousand people. Me and you, we could get together. I'm doing what I can. If you're doing what you can, then let's see how we can unite on something. Let's see if we can collaborate on a particular area or a particular project that allows you to merge what it is that you're doing in this regards, and I merge what I'm doing in this regards, and we do what we can. But to sit around and do nothing and just to say, well, it's just me, no, you're not alone. You're in debt, and there's thousands and thousands of other people in debt, and they're still blaming the finger at the wrong people and the wrong person. Education has failed you. Education have betrayed you. The whole educational system. And like I said, for those who went on to college and spent even more time and spent money, like a lot of money, going to college is not inexpensive. So they're out of even that much more. For what? You check the statistics and find out how many are actually obtaining meaningful careers in the field that they desire after having gone through college. And then you also run the numbers on those who do have a meaningful career in something that they chose. But if you ask them to sit down and be honest, they'll tell you, yeah, they had to take classes in this and that. And if they didn't get, they had to stress because if they didn't get a good grade over here, it was going to affect them on a major. And all that other information that they was forced to learn, they don't use that. They probably don't even have a clue about what it was in terms of having to, if they had to regurgitate it or utilize or put forth that information. So it still failed them. They wanted to go to school for this, but they had to take 5 or 6 minors that had absolutely nothing to do with it. It's a farce. It's failed us and it's betrayed us. And unless we stand up and acknowledge that, then we'll keep passing that on to, if not our direct kids, then we'll see the next generation of kids waking up, being born. And it's so sad because you see little kids and they running around and they playing and they're always up and lively and just buoyant in life. And then you go back and visit them after 1 or 2 good years in kindergarten and first grade. Oh, they're still going to be laughing and playful because they're still of that age. But if you knew them from the beginning, you're going to know that there's been a drastic change in them. The life is slowly being sucked out of them because they're being forced into an educational system that is inorganic and it's hurting them and slowly but surely sucking the life out of them till by the time they get to middle school, all their little childhood hopes and dreams and aspirations of what they really wanted to be when they grow up It's no more. All they have is the options that, you know, the school system is trying to set before them. All that, you know, dare to be adventurous and follow your dreams. No, they're going to give you a few select choices that you are to choose from, and that's basically it. So these are the kind of topics that I talk about, along with an infinite amount of other topics. I dare to investigate and research any and everything that a man could possibly conceive and or perceive. I dare to investigate it all. I put a premium on what is relevant, and I put a premium on high quality information. Because it doesn't matter how right something is if it's just not relevant, in my view. I always can never have too much knowledge, but I do put an emphasis on what's relevant and what's high quality, what's of importance and significance. So that's the word that I have for you guys, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. Give me some ideas. I have a ministry. I'm willing to go where no man has gone before with regards to trying new constructive thoughts and ideas in a search for improvement and the betterment of humanity. So leave a comment. Let me know what you think I could do. What are you doing? What's something you heard about? What's something we could possibly try? What I could possibly try? But definitely, by far, no question about it, the educational system has failed us and it has betrayed us. And like I said, I'm going to close this video, but the only question that remains is, what are you going to do about it? You're going to steady watch by and sit back and watch your nieces and your nephews, and then eventually your grandkids, neighbors' kids. You see all these kids getting up, going to the bus with the life being sucked out of them, and this one-size-fits-all approach to learning, this one-size-fits-all approach to teaching. It's ridiculous. So let's be aware of this. If you can't do anything else about it, at least you can kind of help navigate your child through it. Sometimes, you just may be in a situation that you just can't get out of right then and there. I understand that. So maybe just this information and knowing this, you can be a little bit more patient with your child, a little bit more understanding, a little bit more encouraging, a little bit more tolerant, because you can't take no kid and just wake them up one day. These are babies. 4 or 5, 6 years of age, and then tell them all of a sudden they got to get up every morning. No, this is how the system has abused us. We should be saying, you know what, the buck stops here. Instead of just, well, that's just the way of the world. We need education. We don't need education. We need information. Information beats the dog, you know what, out of education. Because education, especially Western education, as I see it, it's not even education, it's more indoctrination. You've been indoctrinated. With the ultimate goal being, hey, you go along to get along, you do what you're told, you don't question it. You go to school, why do I have to sit here? Because the teacher said so. Why do I have to go outside and play? Because everybody else going outside to play. Why can't I color this? Because it's not coloring time. No one else is coloring, neither are you. So you're taught to obey. You're being indoctrinated. You're not being educated. And with the stuff that is so-called education that are outside of reading, math skills, maybe a little bit of science and English skills thrown in there for reading and writing and things of that nature. All that other stuff, man, let's just be real about it, man. It is what it is, and what it is something that's not needed, very superfluous. And we ought to be at a point to where we are mature enough, we are confident enough, we are learned enough to say, hey, I'm not going to sit back and watch my kids go through that. And if you're in a situation where you can't get out, like I said, then at least say, well, look, I can navigate this, and I can make sure I give my kids some extra added encouragement. Maybe I can devise a plan so by the time my youngest starts going, when it's time for them to go to school, maybe they don't have to because I've implemented a certain game plan or what have you. But don't just keep sitting there and allowing this travesty to take place. You saw what it did to the generations before you, your generation, and let's not sit back and watch it happen to another generation, okay? Listen, I am Brother Minister Cepeda. I start each and every video by requesting that you guys go to the website, and I end every single video by saying, I may not know all of y'all, but I do love all of y'all. That is real as real can get, regardless of how cliche or how corny it might sound. That's the truth with me. Here is a mantra and the truth with me that I actually live each and every single day, and that is, if you are feeling bad, go make somebody else feel good, and you will feel better. I promise. I promise. And if you're already feeling good, and you go make somebody who's feeling bad feel good, then you will go from feeling good to feeling phenomenal. That's just the way this thing works, guys. And the powers that be know this. So let's get out, let's spread that love, let's make others feel good, and that can help us feel good, and so forth and so on. Okay? I love y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.